nice to see you in person. Facebook, look who we got. Chip Nicholson.
Yo, what up?
Woo. Get one of my
Oh, no.
cheerleading pom-poms left over from
Oh,
kindergarten.
I thought that was an art like project in the background. I thought you just tore it down. I was like, oh shit. I was like, he got too excited and just ruined the art.
Yeah, that's just, you need a background, right? So
Yeah, so you put the
goal
pom-poms.
posters.
Yeah, that's what's up. Wait, is that, you just say goalpost? Is that goalpost back there?
Goalpost?
Oh, that's
I
an
was
adorable background.
I was teaching comedy because that's what you do when you're 5 years into it, barely killing. You
You
teach.
teach it.
You do it for free because that's what it's worth.
You hear that? To anyone who's starting out and or thinking about wanting to do comedy, that's the benchmark. Year 5, you teach.
Now I got smart, Chip. What I'm gonna do is just go find people that should be doing comedy and get them to a club and get them to get on stage and take it from a pro.
That's the smartest way to do it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you've done comedy festivals because when I looked, you only told me a little bit. You won the Live Indie Comedy Festival. Was that
yeah.
Was that
It was,
independent or Indianapolis?
It was for independent.
Oh, your picture went away. There you go. Now you're back. And you 5 times you're the winner at the Burbank Best of Fest. What the heck? 5 times, Chip?
Yeah, that was cool in a row. That was dope back in the day. That was really cool. Yeah, but I love that. I love that festival, Burbank Comedy Festival. If anyone's looking for a festival in LA, that one usually happens around August. I'd recommend that. You can get, I mean, if you there's a lot of industry that comes to that. A, B, they have a lot of good workshops throughout the week. C, even if you don't get seen by any industry, you can mingle and network with a whole bunch of comedians from all over the country because they come in from flying from all over. And I was able to meet this guy Pete, and we ended up doing an East Coast tour. We set up a whole tour on the East Coast, just us, and it was so much fun. So wow. I recommend that. It's a good festival to go to.
And you were a finalist in the San Diego competition.
Yeah, heck yeah! I love. Oh yeah. Sorry that. So shout out to the Comedy Palace in San Diego. Sad news, they closed down because of coronavirus. They couldn't. The Comedy Palace couldn't stay open. I hear that through the grapevine of comedians in San Diego and stuff. Great, it was a great place. Shout out to Tony and all them that made that place run.
Tony Calabrese?
No, not Tony Calabrese. Different Tony.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. That's
wow.
Sad. Yeah.
There's gonna be
and
so
Bijan. Shout out to Bijan too, because he like booked that all the time. Man. But yeah. Good times though. That place was awesome.
Yeah. They got a lot. I started up in Murrieta. So I always wanted to go down there to do comedy, but that was my first couple of months in comedy when I was there. I didn't think that.
Okay. So that's how you know Tony Calabrese, like Murrieta, like, and he does Comedy Heights with what's that one lady? The Australian lady.
I don't know. I started at Ace.
Maria Herman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He ran Comedy Heights with him for a while.
So Maria Herman does comedy for the military. Do you?
Whenever I can, yeah. Whenever I get the chance, I've done shows for like a lot of Marine shows recently and everything. Those were, oh man, those have you done those? Those are awesome.
I'm a military veteran and I do my own little shows at VA hospitals and veteran stand-downs around the country.
That's awesome.
Me.
They're so nice. Like they're just so, Like, I mean, it doesn't matter like what the age group is either. Like, if you're doing like the young kids, which they're just kids.
Thank
They
you.
are, it's
Baby.
crazy. They're babies. Ugh, and you can do it for them or you can do it for like the vets, and they're both so appreciative.
They are.
I love doing comedy for the military. Yeah, they're great.
That's so cool. There's a lot of comics out there that do it for the military and veterans, and then there's a lot of comics that want to start doing it for military and veterans. You know,
yeah, I mean,
how
if
do I
you
get
want
started?
how do you get started?
They ask me how to get started, but I just go to a VA hospital and say, I tell jokes, what room can I go to? And, you know, they shuffle you off to Buffalo for a year. You have to keep going back, showing you're normal.
Personally,
It's hard.
personally, I just like I saw either comedians or groups of comedians, like whenever I saw like a post of like them doing a show for military stuff, or then I would just ask, because like I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but I
Nope.
mean, what, like I wanted to, like I would, if I wanted to do, I didn't know how else to get into it, so I was just like, yeah, well, those guys are doing it, so why not just ask? So I just asked. It took a lot of it took like weeks of like building myself up, like, no, that's not the right email, no, that's the wrong word, but yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I know like Johnny Cardinale in LA, he does military tours, and
Hmm.
Dante, the comedian, Dante Reshaleli, he does. And there's
Hmm.
somebody else, Eric Knowles.
Eric knows does a lot of military, yeah. Frick, I can't remember. Shoot, he's basically blind. I can't remember his name though, but he does a lot of military too. Oh God, tall,
It's
skinny
like,
guy, really? Huh?
nope, it's okay. I talked
Ah,
over you.
oh no, it's tall, skinny guy, blind. I can't remember his name though. Hispanic? Huh? Nothing? Damn it. Rat.
Well, I'm keeping a list because people ask me. I don't think I necessarily want to travel around the world at my age, but around the country, yeah.
Yeah, you don't even need to travel around the world. You could travel around San Diego, to be honest. Like, you have so many military bases there, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and now I live in Vegas, so I got Nellis Air Force Base
Oh yeah, you're fine if you're living in Vegas.
and the
You have
VA.
everywhere, like between Vegas and San Diego, you have Army, Air Force, and Navy and Marines
Yeah,
all the way up and down.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if I go and travel, like I did it in Portland and Vancouver and Salem on the West Coast, and then in New York City, I had a weekly show at the Manhattan VA when I lived there twice. It's so fun. It's so rewarding.
That's what's up. I love doing military shows. Love them. They're so good.
Yeah.
They're just, yeah. And then, I mean, they don't necessarily pay that well, but they are so warming.
Oh my God. I saw one guy came to my show in New York, and he sang like Frank Sinatra kind of music. And he had the oldest people in the room, like 60, 70-year-old veterans crying. It
Oh
was so heartwarming, you know? You don't forget that stuff.
no, you don't.
One
No.
day,
Yeah, like
one
one
day
day
I
what?
was one day I was at the VA getting some medicine because I'm a patient too, you know. And this guy wheels himself into the cafeteria in a wheelchair. And I said, "Hi, do you want to hear some jokes?" Just in the cafeteria, right? And he went into a story how the last time anybody told him any jokes was when Bob Hope came to Vietnam.
Jesus Christ.
That's the impact that we're having when we do comedy for the military. It brings them
That's gnarly.
gnarly. So let's get back to your life. You grew up, you were raised in San Diego, went to Alabama,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and now you live in LA, world traveler. You're a world
I
traveler.
guess so. I guess so. I mean, I'm a national traveler, that's for sure.
So
lot of
your comedy is described as like a surgeon. You go deep and you cut and you cut deep. So
yeah,
tell me
like,
about that.
well, I always had a hard time explaining like my comedy, like in general, but I'm a very, very goofy person. The way I look at the world is just like it's a lot of like references to my past, like to cartoons, to Disney. I'm a Disney. I love Disney. So like a lot of my references and stuff come from like Tex Avery cartoons, Disney, Looney Tunes, stuff like that, you know? Like all those bits and stuff, like the wah wah wah, like all that stuff was just in me for forever, you know? So um I have that in me, and that's how my perspective of the world is. But then also because of the juxtaposition of San Diego and Alabama, because like when I was living in, I like now I say like I was scared to move to Alabama. That was nuts. It was so different. It was so different. Like I mean, like no one liked me. I was in San Diego and it was 12. I moved at 12. So like I moved right around the time that I was learning like girls, right? And like getting into girls. And I was learning all the skills to get girls, but I was only learning the San Diego skills, right? So then I moved to Alabama, none of that shit mattered. Like it didn't matter at all, right? So I was just in Alabama confused and it sucked. But I did after a while realize that I needed when I grew up, I needed Alabama. I needed the spice because otherwise I was just this bland kid from San Diego. But I needed that spice of Alabama to like understand the world a little better, to change my worldview. And that's where like the surgeon kind of comes in, is where it's the edginess of my humor. It's not necessarily dirty or graphic or mean, but it can be very edgy and it can be very cutting, but it's goofy.
Oh, how fun to mix the two together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So so when did you decide, you know what, I am funny. I'm going to risk everything and go on stage to make and be a court jester for the people. When did you make that decision?
Those were two different decisions.
Yeah.
Well, like the first one was a decision to just do it, right? Just to like not necessarily to become it, but to do it was the first decision, right? Can I do it? And then the second decision came later after I was doing it for a while, and I was like, can I become it? You
Wow.
know, those were so it was like two. It was like steps, like after before I got, because I got hired at the Comedy Store in La Jolla and I was working there for a while, but before I got hired there, like as a comedian, you go through times where you don't even know if you're on the right track or if you're progressing, or if sometimes you feel like you're in quicksand and you can't get out. You're like, am I moving anywhere? And that was happening right before I got hired at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. And I was like, am I doing things? Am I becoming it? Am I doing the right, am I taking the right steps? Am I going up the rung, or am I just, I don't know. And then they were like, hey, you want to come work for us? And I was like, okay, I can become it. Okay, that was it was like a sign. I was like, okay, you can become it. You're on the right track. Just keep going. And that's kind of like around the time where I was like, okay, I want to become full. I won't fully want to become a comedian.
So what year was that in your comedy?
Like year, I think 2.5. Year two and a
Wow,
half.
that's great. Great. I started in comedy when I was 63 years old.
Oh, that's what's up.
I waited that long, and I have a brain injury. So for the first 5 years, I was using notes on stage, and we know what we think about comics that need notes. But that was me.
Well,
I was tied to my
so
notes. Now
so
I don't.
you're doing the notes for shows or for open mics?
my brain wouldn't let me remember. I would practice 30 hours for 2 weeks to do 5 minutes of comedy, and I'd get up on stage and forget it all.
Yo, on some real stuff though, the way stand up is like if you tell people, yo, I got a brain injury and I need these notes, people won't be mad at you for that.
It's
No,
like,
no comedian's gonna be like, oh, but the purity of comedy is like
maybe after the pandemic they'll be nicer, but and I push myself hard, but now I'm finally at the stage in the end of the 5th year, start of the 6th, where the memory's working. So that's good. I'm happy.
good. Yeah, that's a hard part of it too, ain't it? Just getting the words down so you can say them how you mean. Like,
Oh my God.
it's such a process.
Yeah, it is. And like you have to go through it. You can't get any shortcuts. You have to just muddle through everything on your own. It's weird.
We're like we're miners. Like we're miners mining for gold, and our audience wants us to mine without getting dirty. But you got to get through a whole bunch of dirt and stuff. To even get to some silver or fool's gold, anything. Like you got to get a little dirty. And there's audience that doesn't want to see us get dirty to get to that, and there's other comedians that don't want to get dirty to get to that.
That's true.
So it's just mind-boggling.
It's so weird because like you do a set for one crowd and it kills, and you go 5 blocks over to the next club and you get crickets, and you're like, this makes about as much sense as bowling with blindfolds on. Takes forever.
You know how I feel about that? Like I feel like personally it's like because my grandpa, he was like a Chinese brush painter, so I like got a lot of like, I don't know, Asian influence and stuff. And I don't know where I heard this from. It might have been Asian influence, I don't know. But I've heard that this phrase, this idiom that you can never step in a river twice, in the same river twice. You can never step in the same river twice. And they say that because the river keeps flowing and the water is never the same water, that you can never step in that same water because it's always constantly flowing. So I felt that way about like audiences, like, no, even though you're the same person and you're doing the same set, you can't step in the same audience twice. It's going to be different every single time,
And that's half of the draw. That's why, like the addiction to get up on stage, we put our demons in the back burner and get up on stage with this addiction for, I don't know, attention or fame or whatever. And we can't stop. And it's like every time it's different and new and exciting.
Yo, I just got broken up with because I can't stop this addiction. It's so, I swear, okay, because, they just started, like some of the comedians in San Diego started doing an open mic, and it's but like outside, like not on this, right? And it was the first way, and they said they were coming up to LA, and I was like, yes, finally, yes, we can do it. And so I was all about it, right? And they were like, don't worry, we're practicing social distancing. And the way they're doing it is it's like a drive-in movie theater, right? So they have a CB radio that blasts to all the car radios. And so you listen to it, the comedy show, in the car. They have 3 different microphones that they rotate between comedians and sanitize. It's awesome. And the girl I was talking to saw me there and freaked out and was like, hey, I don't feel safe around you doing stuff like that. And I was like, and I explained her everything, and she was cool for a second, but nope. And she was like, well, and then she basically was like, well, I kind of want us to like redefine, because we weren't exclusive. We didn't have the title or whatever, right? So she wanted to get the title because I think she wanted more responsibility or more power in the relationship to tell me what not to do. I don't know. but she was like, it's not fair that you can just go do all this stuff. And I was like, all right, well, if I had the chance to re-choose a billion times, I would have chosen the same decision. I would have went and done comedy every single time. I'm sorry. Nothing mattered in that moment. And she was like, really? She was like, that's really selfish. I was like, yep. I know. I'm so sorry.
It's your passion.
It sucks, but
yep.
In a relationship, when you're an entertainer and you're in a relationship, whether you're a boy, girl, whether you like boys or girls, yep. I don't care. If you're the entertainer, whatever you're doing, that passion or whatever, that's your first boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband. That's the first one. And then everybody else, well, you're cheating on the first one with. They're the side person.
Yeah. There's so many great people in comedy, mostly who are single or single again, because I don't think people understand what we give up to be comics.
Right?
You can't do this half-assed. You have to put your whole heart into it.
Right? And it's wild too, because every piece of life is an inspiration, or is a chance for a joke, or a chance for anything, right? So I've noticed that I've had conversations with people that I like, and that conversation gets devalued because there's something that happened in that conversation that I'm like, that's hilarious. That needs more. I need to share this, Yep.
I mean, so when you turn it into a joke, then you feel like the relationship suffers, or
I don't like, it doesn't devalue it for me, but I feel like it devalues the sentiment for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Because instead of it being just you and me, it's like it's not intimate anymore. It's for everyone, you know? But that's kind of who we are as entertainers, is we kind of want everyone to fall in love with us.
Like, especially like with close friends and family, that we get to see some of the quirky things they do. And, it's my life. It's my freedom of speech to take my silly brother-in-law and my sister, and my twin brother. And my twin brother and I, we banter, we roast each other really hard,
Mm-hmm.
And so when I say that, he tells me that I am him in drag, and I tell him that he's the afterbirth, like, it's not, we're not, it's just the way we are, and but some people in your family don't want you airing your laundry,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, this is my life. This, I'm going to find a way to make my stuff funny. You're going to watch the blinking lights,
Like, if it's anything super personal, I'll ask, and I don't put like specific names and stuff, so that's for sure. But like say I'm texting someone and I send you a picture, right, that had something to do with us or whatever, some type of art or whatever that reminded me. If I then later on that week am posting like a set that I did, and I might want to use that same art for the Instagram post or the poster that I'm doing for a show that I'm doing or whatever. Guess what? Devalues the text that I sent.
It's a good point.
Almost as if I'm like, what's it called? Like I mutinied, like I turned against, I could understand that, but at the same time, as an entertainer and performer, like I'm pulling from all the resources that I have, that because that's how you do it. There's no other way to do it.
There isn't.
People ask you where it comes from. It's like, it comes from everything within here. That's all it is.
It's material. It's just material laying around, waiting to work its way on stage.
Right.
People try to make it so much more than that, and all it is I thought it was funny, and it makes people laugh.
Exactly. We're just out here standing on the shoulders of giants. That's all we're doing. You know, we're just out. All we are is just like entertainers. All we are is just we're just an overcoat and then 3 kids stacked on top, and and we're the third kid that everyone sees, and they're like, "Wow, he's so tall." You know, that's all we're doing as entertainers.
That's so true. You're a delight to talk to, Chip. I want to know.
Thank you.
I could talk all day with you, but I want to know, where can I promote you online to get more numbers for you?
Oh, okay. So you can promote me at Chip Nicholson. That's across the board on Instagram. I'm gonna make that app on Instagram, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and TikTok. You can find me at Chip Nicholson, ChipNicholson.
Super easy. So,
yeah.
Do you have a podcast?
I do have a podcast. It's out. It has season 1 and season 2 are out. Quick and Easy Spanish Podcast. That's QESP, Quick and Easy Spanish Podcast.
How do you spell it again?
Quick and A-N-D, Easy Spanish Podcast. And it has nothing to do with anything quick, easy, or Spanish. It's but it is a podcast.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and then every Tuesday, so like tomorrow, I host a show on Zoom, and we broadcast it on Facebook. You can check it out if you want, and check out either on Facebook. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard, yes.
All of a sudden, we care about time zones, you know?
It's crazy, right?
Never gave a shit before.
Like I didn't know that there was because it did PST right for a second, and then I typed that in, and then like someone was like, "Excuse me, do you mean PDT?" And I'm like, "This guy's an idiot." And I looked it up. I'm like, "Oh, there's 2. Oh, okay, I'm the idiot."
Crazy. All the new stuff we have to deal with thanks to the pandemic.
Right.
So you have a show on Tuesday, 7 p.m. on your Facebook.
Yes.
Does it have a title for the show?
All American Comedy Circus. And what we do is 50% of all the donations go to A, the performers, and B, Food Chain Workers Alliance. It's a nonprofit organization that helps food workers all across America that have been affected by the pandemic and everything. It's been a lot of fun.
All American Comedy something else. What?
All American Comedy Circus. Every Tuesday at 7. We host it through Zoom, but we also post it and stream it on Facebook through our event page, the All American Comedy Circus event page.
Got it. Wow. Guns a-blazing. Look out, bitches. He's coming for you. When's your next comedy festival coming up, Chip?
My next comedy festival. See, that's the thing. I'm in the I think the San Francisco 40 for 40 festival. I have the Arizona festival, an Arizona festival coming up. And then also the NoHo Comedy Festival, Big Pine is coming up. The only problem is all those festivals are like on the back burner because of the coronavirus. So like, I mean, there was a festival in May that was supposed to happen that got pushed back. So I'm in a lot of festivals coming up, but we don't know when they're gonna happen.
It's ridiculous, Chip.
It's crazy.
I would like you to fix it before sundown today.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let me get on the phone with God. Hey, God. Yeah. Remember that plague you sent? Hey, remember that prayer where I was like, I need a break? Can you cancel it? Can you cancel the prayer?
Thank you so much, Chip. I will post all your social media stuff onto this video. Check it for accuracy and then share it with your people, please.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're a
Thanks
doll.
for having me. That was great. Thank you.
Anytime you have an announcement to make, you got a spot to make an announcement right here.
Woo! All right.
Thank you, Chip. Bye.
Everybody's talking.